Hi, welcome to our very doodly retelling of Hamlet. This is a super silly, super simplified version of a long, sad story that we hope will make you laugh and maybe even help you understand one of the most famous tragedies the great Willie Shakespeare ever penned. Alright, so, all the way in Denmark, there's a very unhappy castle called Elsinore Castle. And one night, the guards are patrolling the high ramparts of the castle and they see a ghost. It really scares them. But this really smart dude named Horatio sees the ghost and says, "Whoa, that dead guy looks exactly like King Hamlet, our beloved king who died not too long ago. That can't be good." Because, see, when the king died, his brother, Claudius, took over and married the king's wife, Gertrude, and made everybody at Elsinore Castle super mad. But anyway, Horatio, who, like I said, is really smart and clever and all that, he goes to find his best friend, Prince Hamlet. Not to be confused with King Hamlet, who's dead. I know, two Hamlets? That's confusing. The dad Hamlet died. He's an angry ghost now. But his son, Prince Hamlet, is who the story is all about. Of course, Prince Hamlet is super sad and upset about the fact that his dad just died, and he's really mad about his uncle Claudius, but we'll get to that part later. So Horatio goes and gets Prince Hamlet so he can see Ghost Dad Hamlet. And Prince Hamlet is all like, "Hey, that's my dad." And Ghost Hamlet says, "Yep, it's me, your dad. And guess what? Your crazy uncle murdered me to steal my throne and my wife." And Prince Hamlet is all like, "Whoa, what? That's crazy. I'm so sad." And Ghost Hamlet says, "You better get revenge for me. I hate that guy." And then he disappears. So Prince Hamlet obviously has to avenge his father's death and catch his evil Uncle Claudius. But now he's even more sad and also kind of angry and becomes super melancholy, which is an important word here that means super sad and also kind of angry. Some people even think he's a little bit crazy. His mom, who isn't very nice in this story, and his evil Uncle Claudius are all, oh, Hamlet, you're crazy. Why are you so sad?" Even though, like, his dad just died, and his uncle's a murderer, and his mom's not nice, so of course he's sad. Duh. But they're afraid he's caught on to their terrible plot to kill the king and take over Denmark. So they get these two guys named Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to watch Hamlet and try to figure out why he's acting so strangely lately. So they can say, "Hey, he's acting really strangely lately. Don't believe him." And not only that, but Hamlet has this girlfriend named Ophelia. She really loves Hamlet, and she doesn't want him to be sad either. Hamlet probably loves her too, but he's so caught up in being sad and trying to catch a murderer that he tells her to go away and leave him alone. So now Ophelia's sad too. But in comes her dad, Polonius. He says a lot of pretty famous quotes, which we actually still quote pretty often today. But he's actually a big jerk in this story. He doesn't mean anything he says, and he's really conniving and weaselly. He agrees to totally spy on Hamlet, his daughter's boyfriend, and also prove to everybody that Hamlet is nuts. Ophelia also has a brother named Laertes, who's actually a pretty cool dude. And he is real mad his sister's upset, but more about him later. Meanwhile, all this stuff is going on at Elsinore Castle and all around Denmark. Hamlet's grieving his dad and trying to prove that Claudius is the murderer and that his mom helped. Ophelia gets dumped by her prince boyfriend. Polonius is sneaking around trying to prove that Hamlet's crazy. And in the middle of all that, a group of traveling actors arrive at the castle. That was pretty popular in those times. People would show up at fairs and festivals and even castle feasts and put on plays, because there was no Netflix then. But this gives Hamlet a super good idea. What if he gets these actors to put on a play all about how Claudius killed the king? Hamlet is pretty sure he knows exactly how Claudius did it. So he can make the theater people act it all out, just like it happened in real life, so that when Claudius and Gertrude see it, he'll have a big reaction and prove themselves guilty. So that's what they do. The evil uncle and Hamlet's not-so-nice mom and everybody else sit down for the play, and the actors dress up as fake Claudius and fake Gertrude and fake dead dad Hamlet, and Prince Hamlet waits. And then they show fake Claudius poisoning the king, just like real Claudius did. He pours poison in the king's ear while he's sleeping. Weird, I know, but apparently it's effective. So when evil Uncle Claudius sees this, he jumps up all scared and guilty looking and runs out of the theater. Hamlet's like, haha, caught him now, and he'll soon get his revenge. But Claudius is like, oh no, Hamlet caught me. We're going to say he's crazy and send him away to England where he can't get me. So now Hamlet, who is still sad, melancholy, goes to tell his not nice mom Gertrude that he knows exactly what happened. But remember Ophelia's mean dad, Polonius? He's hiding out in the queen's room. He lurks behind a big tapestry so he can spy on everybody. Hamlet thinks his evil uncle is hiding there, so he stabs the tapestry. Except instead of killing the king like he thought, he kills Polonius instead. Everybody's like, oh no, Hamlet, you can't just kill people like that. So they send him off to England. And those Rosencrantz and Guildenstern guys, they're secretly going to tell the English to execute Hamlet. Only Hamlet doesn't know that yet. So you know how Hamlet was super sad the whole time because his dad died? Well, guess what? Now Ophelia is super sad too because her dad died. And because Hamlet was so cruel to her. Only instead of seeing a ghost and attempting to avenge the throne of Denmark, she drowns in a river. This makes everyone more sad, especially me. Poor Ophelia. And Hamlet is very much thinking poor Ophelia. He finds out she died and is really upset that he was so mean to her. He's just so very terribly sad, and maybe he actually is going a little bit crazy because of all the wild and crazy stuff that's been happening to his friends and family. It's a lot for one prince to handle. But nobody is more mad about all this than Laertes, Ophelia's brother, who's actually very nice and really loved his sister. Evil King Claudius tells Laertes that it's all Hamlet's fault. Now Laertes, unfortunately, is all like, well, I guess I have to kill Hamlet now because it's all his fault. And Claudius is like, yeah, do that, I'll help. So Hamlet wants to kill Claudius. And Claudius wants to kill Hamlet. And Laertes wants to kill Hamlet. And nobody wants to kill Laertes, but I think we all know how this is going to end. So Hamlet, who, poof, is back from England because pirates, maybe, I don't know, falls right into Claudius's new murder trap. Hamlet thinks he's just fencing Laertes, which is like sword fighting for sport, but Claudius puts poison on Laertes' sword so it will kill Hamlet easier. And just in case, evil Claudius adds a little extra poison to a goblet for Hamlet to drink from, covering all his murder bases, you see. So Hamlet is so very sad that when he sees Laertes, he swears he really, really loved Ophelia and he's sorry that she died, but it's too late. The poison fencing match happens anyway. So we have a poisoned sword, a poisoned goblet, a sad prince, an angry brother, an evil king, and a not nice mom. This is all very important. There's a whole bunch of sword fighting and Shakespeare-ish blabbering for a while, and Hamlet is totally winning. But then his mom drinks the poisoned goblet by accident, and she dies. But wait, there's more. So then Hamlet gets stabbed by the poisoned sword, but doesn't die yet. First, he stabs Laertes, who has a long, dramatic monologue in which he tells Hamlet everything, and that it's all Claudius's fault that his mom got poisoned, and Hamlet's super mad, but Laertes dies. Oh, man. Hamlet's like, hey, evil uncle, come here, and stabs him with the poisoned sword and makes him drink the poisoned wine, and all the poisoning comes back to Claudius, and he, of course, dies. But now that Hamlet has fulfilled his promise to his ghost dad and avenged the throne of Denmark and has also got stabbed by the poisoned sword that one time earlier, he dies too. Super sad. And all that's left is our smart friend Horatio, who tells Hamlet's melancholy story. So, what's the point? There's a ton of big themes in Hamlet, mixed in with all the dying and stabbing and being sad. Like how just because people say good things, like Polonius, doesn't mean they're honest role models. Or that broken hearts are really heavy things to carry around and grief is hard to handle. Yes, this is a sad story. It's been read and studied and performed for hundreds of years in many different ways, and it's one of the most widely known sad stories in the world. And sure, Will Shakespeare might be famous for well-staged deaths, but even he knew that not every story was a tragedy. Only some of them. And hey, maybe if you're walking the ramparts of a Danish castle one dark winter night, you'll find the ghosts are still there, telling their stories. Thanks so much for watching the first installment of Inklings, Classic Literature and Doodles. We apologize to William Shakespeare and my 10th grade English teacher. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. The end.